Hello everyone. I welcome you all for the part 2 video on refrigeration and air conditioning course. In this video, I am going to explain the working principle of air refrigeration system, vapor compression refrigeration system, vapor absorption refrigeration system. These all three methods belongs to this mechanical refrigeration methods. Air refrigeration system. In air refrigeration system, air is used as working fluid, absorbing the heat from the low temperature system and discharging the same to high temperature system is done by air. As air is not changing its phase throughout the cycle, the heat carrying capacity per kg of air is very small compared with vapor compression refrigeration system. The air refrigeration system was used universally in the olden days and became obsolete for many years because of its low coefficient of performance. With the advancement in air flight and with the idea of applying air conditioning system to aeroplane, air refrigeration system again got its importance. As high pressure air is already available in the aeroplane, it has been applied in last few decades to aircraft systems. These air refrigeration systems can be divided into a closed cycle and open cycle. Air refrigeration system employs reversed Brayton cycle. The reversed Brayton cycle is also known as Bell-Coleman cycle. So this is the cycle employed in air refrigeration system. It is better to revise the concept of Brayton cycle before studying this reversed Brayton cycle. This Brayton cycle is applied in gas turbine power cycles. The gas turbine power cycles are classified into open cycle gas turbine power cycle and closed cycle gas turbine power cycle like air refrigeration system. Air refrigeration system also classified into open cycle refrigeration system and closed cycle refrigeration system similar to this gas turbine cycles. In open cycle gas turbine, the air is sucked from the atmosphere and compressed in the compressor, then it's sent to the combustion chamber where the burning of fuels increases the temperature of air and pressure. That high pressure, high temperature air is expanded in the turbine. So while expansion, that high pressure air does work and that work is used for power generations. After expansion, the expanded air is sent out to the atmosphere in case of open cycle gas turbines. Here you see this compressor is coupled with turbine, which means around 60 to 80% of the power developed by the turbine is utilized for running the compressor. That is the reason this gas turbine power plant is not generally used. Now coming to this closed cycle gas turbine, the expanded air from the turbine is sent to the cooling chamber where it is cooled at constant pressure. That cooled air is again sent to the compressor and the cycle repeats. This Brayton cycle consists of 4 processes. 2 are isentropic and the remaining 2 are constant pressure process. The process 1 to 2 is isentropic compression in the compressor. The process 2 to 3 is constant pressure heat addition in the combustion chamber. The process 3 to 4 is isentropic expansion in the turbine. The process 4 to 1, this process 4 to 1 is constant pressure heat rejection in the condenser. The same four processes are involved in reversed Brayton cycle because the same four components are employed in the air refrigeration system, but the arrangement of components is little different. See here, the turbine and compressor is coupled like gas turbine, and these two are the heat exchanger similar to this. But after the compressor, this heat exchanger is the combustion chamber. It adds heat to this air. But here, after the compressor, this heat exchanger is the condenser. So these two heat exchangers are interchanged here. So this is the condenser. In this heat exchanger, the temperature is decreased, and in this heat exchanger, the temperature of the air is increased. So in Brayton cycle, the cycle starts at this point 1 and follow this way in the forward direction, return to the initial point. In case of air refrigeration, the cycle starts from here instead of this way, this point. It starts from here and go back in the reverse way like this and return to its initial position. So in Brayton, the cycle starts from this point 1 and follow the forward path and return to its initial position. But in reversed Brayton, it starts from here and follow the reverse path. That's why it is known as reversed Brayton, and follow the reversed path and return to its original position. Now let's discuss the working principle of air refrigeration system. This is the space need to be cooled. So now the temperature of the air inside this space need to be higher, and this temperature of this incoming air from the turbine must be lower, so that the heat will transferred from this room air to the air from the turbine. That means at the exit of the turbine, the air temperature is low. In this space, air temperature is more, while this low temperature air pass through this space need to be cooled. The high temperature room air gives its heat to the air from the turbine. So this air from the turbine absorbs the heat from the space, so that the space temperature is reduced. The space air temperature is reduced. We got the refrigeration effect in this space. So the refrigeration effect or cooling effect is obtained in the space. So the refrigeration process is over here. Now we have to recycle the air. For that we are need these components. So the air from the space having higher temperature comparing to this room air. Now this air is sent to the compressor. Due to the compression, this temperature pressure increase while passing through this heat exchanger. Remember, this heat exchanger is a condenser. That means it reduces the temperature. and that reduced temperature air is sent through this turbine. While expanding in the turbine, the temperature of this pipeline air is further reduced. That is why the air temperature in the pipeline is less comparing to this room air, so that when this pipeline air flows through this space, it can absorb the heat from the room, so that room can get cooled. So this is the working principle of this air refrigeration. Now see here at point number 1. This is the inlet point to the compressor. In compressor and turbine, the compressor and turbine always follow the isentropic process. So the process 1 to 2 is the isentropic compression, where the temperature pressure of this pipelined air is increased. And the process 2 to 3 is the constant pressure, that is constant pressure heat rejection process from this condenser, so that the pressure is maintained constant but the temperature is reduced. So the heat addition and heat rejection always follow the constant pressure process. So in process 2 to 3, pressure is constant but the temperature gets reduced because it is a condenser. That reduced air is further allowed to expand in the turbine through the process 3 to 4. The process 3 to 4 is isentropic expansion. Now due to this expansion, the temperature and pressure of this pipeline air is reduced. So now at this point the temperature is very less comparing to this room temperature air. That is why when it's flow through the room air gives the heat to the pipelined air and room gets cooled. So this is the process of air refrigeration system. Now you can understand why this air refrigeration system is not employed in normal applications. It is not employed because of this turbine and compressor. For air refrigeration, the compressor size is more comparing with the vapor refrigeration system. The compressor what we are using in the refrigerator or in our household air conditioner is less compared to the air refrigeration system compressor size. And coming to the turbine, you know the size of the turbines. Here air is expanded in the turbine, but in refrigerator or air conditioner, the refrigerant is allowed to expand in a capillary tube. The size is very small comparing this turbine. That is because of this high cost and size of these two components, it is not employed in household and normal applications. It is employed in aircrafts because these two components, turbine and compressors, are the main components to run the aircrafts. These components already exist in the aircraft. By adding these two heat exchanger, we can able to produce the refrigeration effect inside the aircraft. That is the reason this air refrigeration system is popularly employed in aeroplanes. Now let's discuss how this condenser and a turbine reduce the temperature of this pipeline air below the room air temperature by small calculations, and how much temperature we can able to achieve at the exit of the turbine. The process 1 to 2 is a isentropic compression. This is the relation between the pressure, temperature, volume in the isentropic process. So to determine the exit temperature, we can use this relation. Let's assume the temperature of the pipeline air at point 1 is equal to 27 degrees centigrade and the pressure is equal to 1 bar. That is nearly equal to the atmosphere pressure. Due to the compression, the pressure and temperature is increased at the exit. Let's assume the pressure at the exit of the compressor is 5 bar. By substituting these three values in this formula, we get T2 is equal to 202 degrees centigrade. By increasing the pressure from 1 bar to 5 bar, the temperature is increased from 27 degree to 202 degrees centigrade. Now this high temperature, high pressure air is sent to the pass through the condenser. This process 2 to 3 is a constant pressure process, hence the P3 is equal to P2 is 5 bar because it is a constant pressure process. The temperature at point 3 T3 is equal to the temperature at point 1 T1, and T1 we know it is 27. So here T3 is equal to T1 for the perfect cooling. That means cooling the compressed air to its original temperature. If the condenser used to cool the air to its original temperature, that is input temperature of the compressor, then that cooling is known as perfect cooling. Now again use this formula for this isentropic process. Substituting these values, we are getting the temperature at 4 T4 is equal to minus 84 degrees centigrade. So by employing this condenser and turbine, we can able to reduce the temperature of the air to minus 84 degrees centigrade. Now the air in the pipeline is minus 84 degrees centigrade. The room air is need to be cooled, and that is higher than this pipeline air. Hence the room air loses heat to this pipeline air, and this space is cooled, and refrigeration effect is achieved in the aircraft cabin. Now let's summarize this air refrigeration system. In air refrigeration system, the expansion of air takes place in turbine that produces the very low temperature in the system. Because of that, the refrigeration effect is achieved. The cycle employed in the refrigeration system is Bell-Coleman cycle. The other name of this Bell-Coleman is Joule cycle or reversed Brayton cycle, not reversible, and the air is compressed and expanded without changing its phase. But in vapor compression system and vapor absorption system, the refrigerant undergoes a phase change. Without phase change means heat is transferred by means of sensible heat only. Comparing sensible heat and latent heat, sensible heat is always less. That is why the efficiency of this air refrigeration system that is the coefficient of performance is always less. This cycle is the modification of Carnot cycle. You know that the Carnot cycle consists of 4 processes, 2 isentropic processes, 2 isothermal processes. But in air refrigeration, these 2 isothermal processes are replaced by isobaric, that means constant pressure processes. That makes this cycle is practically possible. The Carnot cycle is not practically possible because of this 2 isothermal and isentropic processes. That is why that Carnot cycle is termed as ideal cycle. It is not the practical cycle, it is the ideal cycle. In the Carnot cycle, it consists of 4 processes, 2 isothermal, 2 adiabatic. In Brayton cycle, the same 2 isentropic, but this isothermal is replaced by constant pressure processes. These constant pressure processes make this cycle practically possible, and these isothermal processes make this Carnot cycle is not a practical cycle and it is an ideal cycle. The second mechanical refrigeration system is vapor compression refrigeration system, simply known as VCRS. This is the most important refrigeration system which is used in refrigerators and air conditioners. This system also has the same 4 components: evaporator coil and a condenser coil. The other 2 components are compressor and a expansion valve. So in all the mechanical refrigeration system, this evaporating coil and condenser coil is compulsory, and this compressor is the main component in air refrigeration system and vapor compression refrigeration system. This compressor is replaced by the heat generator in vapor absorption refrigeration system. The 4th component, expansion valve. This expansion device is different for different refrigeration system. In case of air refrigeration system, turbine is used as a expansion device. In vapor compression refrigeration system, for small tonnage requirement systems like refrigerators and air conditioners, capillary tubes are used as expansion device, and whenever there is a more tonnage of requirement, then this expansion valve is nothing but a throttling valve. Now let's discuss the working principle of this system. We know that after the expansion device, the temperature of the medium is very less. The medium means in case of air refrigeration, air is the working medium. In case of vapor compression and vapor absorptions, the refrigerants act as the medium. So the refrigerant temperature is very less after this expansion. Here that refrigerant is low pressure, low temperature and in liquid phase. This liquid refrigerant is allowed to send through this copper coils in the space to be cooled. So this refrigerant temperature is less compared to the room air temperature. So this refrigerant takes the heat from this room air and gets vaporized. So at the exit of these copper coils, here we get low pressure vapor refrigerant. So the liquid refrigerant gets vaporized in this coil, hence this is known as evaporator coil. Due to the evaporation of the refrigerant, the room air temperature gets reduced. By this way, the refrigeration effect is obtained in the system or the space which is need to be maintained at low temperature below the surrounding or atmosphere temperature. So we got this refrigeration effect here. Now this low pressure vapor refrigerant must be recycled. That means must be converted into low pressure liquid refrigerant here. For that we need the remaining three components: compressor, condenser, expansion valve. This low pressure vapor refrigerant sent to the compressor, where it converted into high pressure vapor. This high pressure vapor is passed through this condenser. Again, this is the copper tube coils. At the exit of the condenser coil, we get high pressure liquid refrigerant due to the condensation in the condenser. Then this high pressure liquid is collected in the reservoir, and while it is passing through the expansion valve, the high pressure of the liquid is reduced to low pressure liquid. This cycle repeats. This is the working principle of vapor compression refrigeration system. Now let's summarize this vapor compression refrigeration system. Similar to other mechanical refrigeration system, this system also has four components: a compressor, a condenser, expansion valve, and an evaporator. Generally, evaporator is kept at the space where the cooling is required. The low pressure vapor coming from this evaporator is sent to the compressor. In the compressor, the refrigerant vapor gets compressed isentropically. The high pressure vapor at the exit of the compressor is then passes through the condenser. So the vapor refrigerant condenses and we get high pressure liquid at the exit of the condenser. This high pressure liquid refrigerant then enters into the expansion valve. This valve allows this high pressure liquid refrigerant to flow at a controlled rate. At the controlled rate into the evaporator. Because here the flow is restricted, so the high pressure liquid is reduced to low pressure liquid refrigerant. In the evaporator, the liquid refrigerant absorbs the heat from the space to be cooled and converted into vapor. So here the liquid refrigerant changes its phase to vapor. So the heat absorption is latent heat. Latent heat is always higher than the sensible heat. This is one of the reason why this vapor compression refrigeration system gives more COP comparing air refrigeration system. Thus the refrigeration effect is obtained in the space. That's all about this vapor compression refrigeration system.